We're joined now by high school friend of Brett Kavanaugh, Suzanne Matan. She joins us now. We all saw you behind Judge Kavanaugh at that hearing. You've known him since high school.
Yes, I have.
And you actually show up a fair amount in that calendar of the summer of 1982.
Yes.
How often did you see him that summer?
I saw him regularly throughout high school, weekends and during Beach Week. And so I spent a fair amount of time with him.
Beach Week has now become pretty famous right now. We saw that letter from Judge Kavanaugh saying you better warn the neighbors that we're loud, obnoxious drunks with prolific pukers among us. That kind of runs counter to the image he painted of himself back in the Fox News interview.
Yeah, well, exactly. First of all, that letter was written in, what, 1983.
In real time, basically.
And we were, I was the group of girls that spent that week with him. That was the subject of that letter. And, my first reaction after reading that letter was that he's that guy, the responsible one, the one that organized, delegated. And then my second response was, that's an 18-year-old boy writing to other 18-year-old boys, hamming it up for a big trip. That it was a tradition from our area to go to the beach.
So what is your best description of his behavior at that time? We're seeing a lot of different stories about Judge Kavanaugh at that time, back when he was an 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old. Boy, many people coming forward, like you saying, is good, upstanding, great friend. Others coming forward saying he's a loud drunk who is aggressive towards many people.
Okay, so I'm here because I have firsthand knowledge of Brett. I was there. I was a teenage girl when he was a teenage boy. Spent a lot of time with him. He's not that guy, I'm telling you. Did he drink? Yes. Did he take it too far? No. He had aspirations even back then to get into an Ivy League school, to go to law school, to follow in the footsteps of his mother and be a judge. He was smart enough to know the consequences of doing anything that would jeopardize his dreams, to disappoint his parents. He's not that guy.
So why do you think Dr. Ford and so many others now are coming forward?
You know what? I can't speak to that. I mean, all I can speak to is that the allegations that Dr. Ford brought forward lack proof.
Do you believe her?
I believe that something happened to her, but I believe that it did not involve Brett or the other players that she pointed out.
Well, I just wondered, what did you make when you saw the president mocking her testimony the other night? I'm not here to comment on the president. I'm really here because I have firsthand knowledge of Brett and, from back in high school through today. You also have firsthand knowledge of him last week at the hearings as well. Can you describe sort of what was going on behind the scenes as we were all watching that testimony before the whole country?
Yeah, it was intense. I was sitting inches from him, and, I could feel and see a man that stood firmly in his belief of, his innocence and his qualifications to be a judge. And he's an honorable man. He was, defending himself, and he's been smeared. His character has been smeared in front of his wife, his two young daughters, his parents, his friends, his peers, the entire nation. And I think that would be difficult for anybody to face, and I think he handled it quite well.
Have you had the chance to talk to him since the testimony?
I have, yes.
And?
He's hanging in there. He has faith. And again, he's, if he has a conscience, if there even an inkling of any of these allegations or this character was true, he would have withdrawn. He's not going to do that because he is a kind, honorable, good person that deserves to be on the Supreme Court.
Suzanne Matan, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Thanks for your time.
We also reached out to Christine Blasey Ford's team. They declined to come on this morning.